counter with like a pot of coffee for you guys if you guys want coffee.
The counter, not the table. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, what a gentleman, a scholar.
Counter, not the table. Even though I said counter.
Yes, you did. I've not had a single cup of coffee yet.
This is my first.
I did beast.
Hustle juice or
Was the other one hustle juice?
Yeah, the other one's hustle
I
juice.
kind of want hustle juice now.
If you have coffee in the hustle juice, then it's like extra power.
Yeah.
Yo, okay. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Now let me do that again. That was terrible. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome back to Nerdin' Out, a full cast of Nerdin' Out. A rare sight, first time in 2020. You know, this year we have 2020 vision.
No, I don't. No, it's David. He's back for this episode.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny me being the guy saying we have 2020 vision. I'm the guy with glasses.
Well, a moment ago, someone was also wearing glasses. That was not me. So.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, the thing is, like, I got these initially for driving because when I drove and I was like trying to look at street signs, I was like this.
Yeah. He's making like a gopher face for our audiences.
Like Asian gopher.
Asian gopher.
And I realized it when it was like late at night and I was like looking for a street sign and I was thinking to myself, I think I need glasses.
He's like, I think I need glasses. I should go for it. Zing. First pun of 2020.
Like laugh track. But
or like the Seinfeld.
Yes, welcome back, David.
I'm glad to be back.
It
seems to be 2 podcasts ago.
You were in on wait, no.
Dind?
3.
Was he on 50?
Because you had the D&D one actually.
We had 50 and then he missed the D&D session, which was 3. And then there was something else. There
50, 51, 52. There's
51, 52. And then the 3 D&D. So that's 5. You missed 5 episodes, my guy.
Boy, I'm going to rebuke you wholeheartedly.
I have dishonored my family.
We're still on the Asian, the Asian descendant.
But broadly Asian. We don't want to be racist and pick one out.
Broad.
Anyway.
So New Jersey Asian, not if you're saying broadly.
You want to say that into the microphone?
No.
He doesn't.
But speaking of 2020, I feel like that was my segue in episode 51. Just like, speaking of 2020, 2019 was a thing.
I mean, we could use that for all of 2020.
Yeah, we could if we really wanted. But starting a new decade. That's the whole idea. And we're really late to this because we're like at the end of January doing this. But you know what? Whatever. We needed time to create lists.
Totally not my fault.
And I say that like I spent like a month creating this list. I put this list together last night.
Yeah, I put together my list in my head. So it's like fluctuating.
Well, I just put down the list of stuff just so I can have like references and like dates and stuff. Cause like otherwise like, I don't want to be like, oh, that came out whatever year.
Wait, that was 1997?
Yes, exactly. So we're talking about the decade. What are we talking about in the decade, Nathaniel? What about the decade?
Oh, we're going to talk about how the last decade it kind of has been a bummer for entertainment in a way. There's lots of sequels, remakes, creative fatigue where people have just been kind of lazy. And
yeah.
I think a big part of this puzzle is Disney. Like, they just bought a bunch of properties and then just crank out a bunch of the same thing.
Did you guys hear they're making another live action remake?
Yes, Bambi, shoot me.
No, not only
They will shoot his mom, but
They will.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
doing Mulan,
But there's no music in it.
and yeah, that's the weird part.
I think I prefer that because then it's like not
It's more-
it's not 100% retread.
Yeah, and it's more realism too.
But
which
still,
I can
it's just
appreciate
like-
that. I mean, I appreciate that more than
Yes.
making a fully CGI Lion King and calling it live action.
Right, when it's really just animated.
It's just a new like prettier version of animation. That's what's really bugged me, because there's like a lot of people who are like, oh, did you see the live action Lion King? I'm like, no, it doesn't exist.
That's a perfect response, because it's like they didn't use real lions, my boy. They didn't use real deer. Let me tell you.
I was gonna say, I feel like the oldest person here, you can call people that, like, or son. It's like, listen here, son. No.
Listen here, son. I'm gonna tell you a story from way back in the 90s.
Like I had that realization, like a couple years ago, when Joey Bosa came out in the draft. When he got drafted, I'm older than that guy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm older than him. I'm older than every rookie that gets drafted, from here on out. Like I can call them kid, and that's warranted because I'm older than them.
Even though they're big and beefy, and you probably run any of us over.
Like, they can lay on me and break multiple ribs, I can call them kid or son because I'm older than them. So
I feel like
Need to be closer.
the weird thing too is like, okay, judge me. I'm telling you to judge me because I'm telling you to judge me.
I'm judging you so hard right now.
Because then Nathaniel will do it harder. I watched The Bachelorette and The Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise.
Okay.
And every single guy.
No, you're off the podcast. We just can't do this anymore.
All right, guys. Well, it wasn't gonna last anyway. But yeah, like I was watching it with my girlfriend, and she's just like, she's talking about these people. I'm like, yeah, they look pretty old, and then I keep forgetting, and I look down to, how they have the little banner with their name and what they do and their age. Like,
I can't say that I do. Oh, you mean like on the graphic?
Almost all of the guys and or girls are younger than I am. And like the guy who got the girl last season looks like he's in his 30s and he's the same age as I am. And I was like, what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with you is that we're all in our 40s.
The Bachelor is a paradoxical show in itself, because it's a show watched by women who hate guys who date multiple girls. That is a show about a guy dating multiple girls.
Yeah. And that's what
I've never heard that show put more accurately. I love that so much. I don't love the show, but I love that idea of the show.
I know both shows are just like a paradoxical existence.
And it's like 99.9% drama made by the producers. So like this next episode is supposed to come out on Monday. Like, so there's a girl. So it's The Bachelor this season. It's a guy. And
I'm guessing this is worst of the decade.
Evan's chugging his coffee.
No, this is my care cup, and it is now empty.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something else.
Okay.
So worst of the decade.
I have a little bit of like best and worst. I feel like we could just go through like a little bit of them, and I have a couple things as reference points, but if you guys have any other like things that pop into your head, we can definitely go over that. I think first, like, best movies of the decade, I feel like that's really quick. We can go through a lot of those really quick, like Get Out, Mad Max Fury Road, Joker, Endgame, Hereditary was really good, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was great,
John Wick series,
Django Unchained I feel like is a very underrated movie, but that,
it's okay.
That's more of like a personal thing for me.
I know a lot of people love it.
But I think it's really campy. And it's really, it's hammed up because it's Quentin Tarantino, which that makes sense. He is like the legend of the camp, but yeah, I think Django Unchained was a really good movie. And if you guys have any other like movies of the decade that you kind of,
gosh, there's
I know,
a
right?
lot. There's so many. Avatar, not The Last Airbender. Avatar by James Cameron.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a record breaker.
Gosh, that sort of started the series of good decisions, I suppose.
Do you remember what year that was?
2012.
Right. I know.
Was it?
Let's see.
That sounds right.
IMDb. 2018 was just a good year for horror movies too. Hereditary.
Quiet Place?
Yeah, Quiet Place came out in 2018 too.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that was like a horror movie renaissance in 2018.
Wow. Never mind. Doesn't count. It's 2009. Never mind.
Ah, man.
But on that note,
If we're counting 2009 to 2019, that does count.
oh, that's true.
but a lot of people are counting 2010 to 2000.
Yeah. But this is your count, though. We haven't even started this
I know. So I think a lot of people are counting 2009, 2019 as the decade, and then we're starting this year.
In that case, no.
It's weird because some people even like count 2010 to 2019.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's only 9 years, right?
Yeah, it's like...
Well, 2010, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 12.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Wait.
I don't know.
Don't count the year that you start on.
Yeah. So 10.
Well, yeah, because it's the full year that you're...
Yeah, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait.
What the hell?
Never mind.
I was going to say...
We're not good enough at math to do this.
No, I was going to say Evan's better at math than me, but I don't think none of us are good at math.
Portal opens and...
For you to think that I'm the best one at math here is...
I haven't had enough coffee.
Is very, very ill-founded of you.
It's very telling of my current mental capabilities. I say capabilities. That's a big word.
Like I only graduated my senior year because I didn't have to take a math class. Like that's why.
You lucky dog.
Like I went to a finishing school basically because I was low on credits and I didn't have to take a math class because I had gotten all those credits. That's the only reason why.
Thanks, school system, for treating us all like we don't have certain things we're not that great at.
And just to let you know, like how low the curve was, I was a runner-up for valedictorian in my graduating class.
What?
That's how low the curve was.
So finishing school?
Yeah, finishing school.
So who had the cookie? Only 4chan people will get that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no, I get that.
But
Been unfortunate,
there was this girl ahead of me who she was really sweet and she got it, and I was second, so I sat next to her, and I was just like, they were just like, so we're like. It's like you guys were like neck and neck, but she like scored like a little bit better on this last test than you did, so she gets it. And I'm just like, oh, I didn't even know I was in the running.
They're like, yeah, Evan, you have to color inside of the lines. And it's like, okay. And the reason you're sitting next to her is she's in a wheelchair, and that's the only thing she can. No, I'm kidding.
How many other people were like you competing against Eric Wells?
Oh gosh, I think I can't remember what the. But I was like, us two were like far ahead of like everyone. No. It was, we were the only ones that like really cared. Now that you guys know that, I feel like how I joke about homeschool and stuff, you guys are just gonna joke back. It's just like,
this is our opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm kidding.
It's like, Evan went to finishing school.
Yeah.
Let the torture begin.
We're about to homeschool you.
Anyway, moving on. Worst movies.
Suicide
Squad, Batman vs Superman. I have those two like the top. Transformers Last Night. That was a real bug.
Train wreck.
It was 2017. That was, oh my gosh, that was awful.
That was
the Emoji Movie.
Ooh, that was Pixel.
Did you watch that?
No, I didn't have to. I didn't have to watch it to know it was garbage.
No.
50 Shades of Grey franchise, just as a whole, like I'm just grouping that in all from 15 to 18. That's just all bad. Jack and Jill that was terrible.
That was really bad.
Adam Sandler. That was an Adam Sandler movie.
Adam Sandler
franchise.
No, Adam Sandler as a person.
Including and or not including all of his friends, e.g. Rob Schneider, Mall Cop, all of the Mall Cops.
Although I did hear Adam Sandler put on a really good performance on Uncut Gems, which didn't get any award nominations.
Which is unfortunate. But
but I heard it's pretty phenomenal. So
to show he can be a good actor if he's actually given a good script and a good movie.
I think part of it, he just became known for these. I don't want to talk about Adam Sandler. I really don't.
The Fantastic Four reboot.
Oh,
I
that's
forgot.
so
2015.
poorly.
I know. Yeah. See. Yeah. You forget. That's why I did research because I knew we'd forget about some things.
Yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender that came out 2010.
Yeah, I just
So that made the decade.
just made the
Whew. Yep.
Too bad the other Avatar isn't in there because I'd put it on the list. Mm-hmm. I'm just not a fan, but it's not in the decade. So.
And yeah, I know David's not going to agree with me on this one, but Inception was terrible, and that made the decade. So
I love Inception despite it being flawed.
it's great because
I try to enjoy it despite it being flawed.
I think the problem with it is the characters, but besides that, it's a great film.
And then some movies that just snuck into the decade were as worst. Were The Rise of Skywalker that just snuck in.
That was pretty.
That was really bad.
Pretty bad.
I'm not going to talk about the other Star Wars movies because that's not what we're here to talk about. I feel like every time I badmouth Last Jedi, like Nathaniel gets like visibly upset and like mad at me. Like,
I will lightsaber duel you right now.
I know. It's like,
I will lose, but I will fight you.
I have 2 lightsabers in my mom's storage. I will get them and we will fight this out. But it's funny, every time I badmouth it, I always sound like like upset.
It's because it's like, I don't know why I like almost take it personally. I just love that film.
Yeah, I know. I don't want you to take it personally. It's just
I
like,
know.
yeah, it's just like
I totally get it.
It's like I feel strongly about the things that I feel strong about.
Speaking of Inception, what's the name of that film that Christopher Nolan also did, the War one? That was phenomenal.
Which one?
I forget what it's called. It's the name of a battle. The one with Tom Hardy and
Dunkirk?
yes, that was really good.
That was good, yeah. And then the Christopher Nolan Batmans were in this decade too. I think 2012 was The Dark Knight,
I think so.
and that was probably
Interstellar.
Interstellar was good.
was really good.
All of the dank nights.
So Christopher Nolan, except for Inception, is what Evan says.
Is okay. So before
He did Batman versus Superman though, so he has no credit.
Christopher Nolan did.
Did what?
He did the butt soup.
No, he did not.
He did the butt soup.
What's Bad Soup? That was Rob.
Soup. Batman versus.
No, he did not. That's not Christopher Nolan.
It's Christopher Nolan. It shows up
No,
in
it's Zack
his
Snyder.
movies.
That was Zack Snyder, dude. Zack Snyder and Josh Whedon.
Maybe he was a producer.
Oh no, Josh Whedon was Justice League, which that was another bad one.
Ugh.
Justice League.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we did a review on that one. That was our first episode.
Was it? Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Well, I think this episode is over now that we've wrapped it all up in a nice little bow.
Okay. So before we go on to the next category, which is games.
I'm not as familiar with movies, more with games. So
Movies.
All the Conjuring stuff that came out.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially,
Not the Nun.
not The Nun and not Annabelle Comes Home. Both of those. Well, no, Annabelle's Come Home. I'll count it. I like.
what about Annabelle Goes to School and Annabelle Goes to High School?
Annabelle buys a kitten.
Yeah. What about Annabelle's trip to the hospital?
Annabelle's
trip to radiation.
What about Annabelle's? What about Annabelle learns to ride a bike?
That's the greatest idea I've ever heard for a book series. Like, do a kid's book series but make it really creepy with Annabelle. That'd be great.
Oh my god.
The color Annabelle.
Copyright trademark 2020. I keep forgetting this year.
Get your toddlers lined up. Pre-order this book series for kids.
Oh no.
Video games.
But
yes.
okay, no.
No.
First, movies that you guys think defined the decade.
Oh, you mean like impact, cultural impact, or like
one movie that you guys think impacted the decade the most?
Oh god.
Did Inception come before or after the Batman movies?
The Inception came before what?
The Batman movies that Christopher Nolan.
Came before.
You're
I
not
think.
doing Inception.
No, I don't think necessarily like it's like one of the best films, but I think it like brought a lot of like darker, like more like edgy films. Like a lot of people took inspiration from that, and we got a lot more films like that.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Yeah. I think for me anyway, it's not on the list right now, but I think the film that really kind of was like the most impactful in the decade was Infinity War.
12 Years a Slave. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it was
Infinity War. Okay.
Infinity War, because I think that movie did a really good job of subverting your expectations, because Marvel Studios did a really good job of hiding stuff in trailers and misdirecting. And then when the movie came out, it ended in a way that no one expected. Like when the credits started rolling, everyone was like, wait, what? Yeah. No. Like, this can't be the end. No, no. And the fact that it's like now you have to wait another year for to see the conclusion. They did a masterful job with subverting expectations and then making everyone so excited and like theorize for like the next one. And they did such a good job with like hiding details and all of that. And that made, I feel like, and the fact that was like at the end of like this decade long excursion of, you know, movies setting up character plot lines and all these things, you know, something that the DCEU really wanted to do, but really fell flat on.
I think we can all agree it was kind of Marvel's decade. Like they ruled the theaters.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like no one has done before.
Even on like their flops, like Thor 2 or Ant-Man, that wasn't that successful, but like there were still like shining moments in all these movies. And then at the end with the last two, with Infinity War and Endgame, it culminates all of that. And I think the Marvel franchise, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, really shaped and molded the decade and kind of paved the way for like nerd fandoms to kind of grow and expand.
Yeah, because of Marvel, we see like nonstop superhero movies in theaters. There's like several films per year, not just like Marvel, but DC, and like we have anti-hero films and we have spin-off films, and there's so many superhero films.
Yeah. So,
and that's because of Marvel. Yeah.
And it's also nice because now it's like coming out of that 10 years of build up to this ending that they created at Endgame was kind of like people expected something drastic to shift in the movie cinema, you know, universe that they created for themselves. But now it's almost like the same feeling heading into this new decade is where do we go from here?
Right.
And so it's kind of that nice juxtaposition where we didn't expect what we got when we started this decade in that movie franchise. And now that we're beginning a new decade and kind of beginning a new entire plot line,
right,
it'll be nice to see where they do.
Yes.
But I think one other to define the decade would be Toy Story 3. Kind of made people grow up a bit. I feel like a lot of people kind of our generation, we needed kind of like a period at closure. The end. We needed a period at the end of the sentence that was all of those like animated films. I don't count all the stuff, like everything after Brave, like Frozen and Tangled. Well, Tangled was before, but like Frozen and like some of these others, like I don't identify with as a person who's watched Disney in my whole life. I don't identify with any of those. Same with Moana. I don't, but the older ones I do. And I feel like Toy Story was the period at the end of that sentence. And like even watching Toy Story 4 now, that doesn't really I don't really identify with it. There's a lot of mixed plots and themes that have like more subtle moralities into them. But like with Toy Story 4, like the moral was like follow your heart. It was like, okay, well, there's like 12 other Disney movies that tell me the same thing. Like give me some depth to that.
It's like, okay, thanks Disney.
Toy Story
that.
1, 2, and 3 Disney. Was like they were like unique and like different, and they stood out in like when like theme wise. But then with the fourth one, it kind of followed the rest of the themes, and it was like
the fourth one. It was kind of like little bits of every one of those movies, and I get that it was kind of like you were being thrown back into
it's because like with the first three, it's like you're growing up with Andy, and then on the last one, on number 4, you're just like it's more about the toys and like who they're with.
Yeah, I feel like they should have ended with 3. I feel like that was
I agree
because like you like you said, you grew up with Andy. Andy was this character that you grew up with, and now he's an adult. You're an adult, and he's like moving on from his childhood, as are you. I feel like that was good, and it was an emotional ending. But I felt like that had like David said, that was like the period at the end of the sentence, and it should have been ended with that. I think.
And what was frustrating is that instead of just letting it be the end of the sentence, I feel like that's kind of where Disney is taking themselves to. and a lot of our disappointing movies ends up being the remakes of the movies they should have left alone. And like I've said from the beginning, and like I still say to this day, if you touch Hercules, I swear to Christ, I'm coming down there.
Throwing out
Up
some
there.
lightning bolts.
Up there. I'm in San Diego again.
That's right.
Or I'll go south until I get to there.
Way to place us.
I'll go.
People know where to send.
He made a typo. He meant
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Just all of Texas.
Just all of Texas.
Or I'll just head south until I get to where I need to go. And then, yeah, just stop it. Just stop.
Okay.
And then they'll be like, it's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Yeah, we're okay. Best games.
Best games. Oh my gosh. So many.
So I have on here just 5. Just, we'll probably end up talking about these and then go on to the rest. Witcher 3, Breath of the Wild, Spider-Man, God of War, and Horizon Zero Dawn. Do you agree with all of those?
Like they're all like huge games, like really good games.
And they're all like scattered throughout. Like Witcher 3 came out in 2015, Breath of the Wild 2017, Spider-Man 2018, God of War 2018, and then Horizon Zero Dawn 2017.
Yes, those are great. I would add Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was like many sales. Like not only was it like really
so many
good,
sales, but also it was kind of like the Toy Story 3 of like video games. It was kind of adding that punctuation at the end for fans of Nintendo Smash Bros. Who were like fans like back in like the 64 days.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And it in addition to that, it added like so many characters that never
Everyone's here.
Exactly. And after we've gotten this first like DLC pass with 5 characters, we got 6 more coming.
It's only a matter of time until they
I was gonna say
literally everyone.
I was gonna say like Undertale too. Like that was a game that
Undertale
that came out
love
in
that game.
2015. That was a really, really good
I know. I feel like that one kind of that one could be the one that like defines this decade because there are people who are still playing that and that's still relevant.
I think
it's crazy how like Megalovania, that song is so recognizable. People play the first note and everyone just goes no. Everyone feels like PTSD from
like
that.
Look at YouTube, like they have like every song imaginable set to Megalovania or combined with Megalovania. It's like it's the new Rickroll basically.
Yes,
it's just like absolutely. That's the punchline of this song's joke.
Or just having like the 8-bit sound of Sans talking. Just
there you go.
Yeah, and
and I think
and all the characters in that for being like an 8-bit game are like really fleshed out and they're really
and
they're
it's
endearing.
Really funny too. Like
I know,
it's hilarious.
I know, which is crazy. Like so
I think that's like a bigger like it shows games like that, and it started with games like Braid, like indie games like were really prominent like this decade. Like they had higher production values and were more polished, and they're starting to sell really well, and it kind of like blurs the line a little bit between indie games and like just like games or like AAA games. Like obviously they don't have the same budgets, but a lot more people are buying indie games.
I think I've actually really grown to appreciate there's going to be a couple games coming out this year that I feel like we'll be talking about if we're still doing this in like the next decade recap that we do, which I don't know if we'll be doing that. We will never die. That I feel like we'll be talking about those now because those development teams took extra time to develop them. Like perfect example, Cyberpunk 2020.
Cyberpunk 2077.
I was really disappointed to hear that got delayed, but I'm glad they did because when that comes out, hopefully they'll be more polished and it'll be more like the game that they wanted to release.
It'll be more of a like you said, like decade defining game rather than just like a good game with a lot of flaws.
Yeah. And same thing with the Marvel Avengers game that got announced.
The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be the huge game.
Yeah. So a lot of games are coming out this year that will probably be the defining games of like the next decade, of this next coming decade. And I mean to say that, and I appreciate the extra polish and time they're putting into it, because I feel like the worst game of this last decade was the two worst games were the games that got like the least amount of polish, which were Anthem in 2019 and Sonic Boom in 2014.
Sonic Boom.
It was based off of that like reboot, like Sonic cartoon.
Like the old Sonic cartoon?
Well, no, it was like a CG animated. I can't remember. What?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I forgot it was called Sonic Boom.
Yeah,
I thought it was called.
Yeah, like they put
Cancer on a.
They forgot it was called Sonic Boom too.
Yeah,
because they didn't.
No, I thought it was called Cancer in my video games.
Yeah, it was. With the redesigned.
With
Sonic,
like the bandages on the arms.
Hipster Sonic and like
so
Knuckles with like fingers and all that stuff.
I wouldn't say Anthem like as a game is like one of the worst, but like as a game like affecting studios and like what it put people through and like all the resources it took like for game development, it's a huge loss.
I think it's going to go down as one of the biggest busts because they didn't do what Cyberpunk 2077's team is doing and spending extra time making sure it's ready before they ship it. Yeah. They're like, you see,
they actually spent 5 years on Anthem.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of like failed management and like
What's crazy is you know that cartoon that is like it's like an Anthem cartoon. They're basically making fun of how the fact that it wasn't ready when they shipped it out, and it was like it's like, see that big pile of money over there?
Yeah,
you're gonna go get it. And it's like, I don't think I'm ready. You look ready. And then he like pushes
boots him off.
No, he pushes like a button that like ejects him like with his boner. He's just like, you look ready.
That's EA in a nutshell.
Yeah, exactly. And then the guy lands into like in the ground in front of this like nerd, and the nerd like spits on him, and then like loot box. That's EA. In a nutshell.
That's all of EA.
One of the worst air quotations games is the loot box system, or like microtransactions that popped up in the
games.
Last 10 years. Yeah, I
was gonna say it's really come on in the last 5 years or so. I would say
whole games are built around this concept, and it sucks because there's some really good games that are ruined by it.
The thing that makes me scared for EA is that when they released Jedi Fallen Order, that puts them in a really, really tough position, because they really wanted that to fail, because that gives them an excuse to go back to going like,
single players don't work.
Single players don't work. So and it did really well. So now it's going to force them to do more of that and less microtransactions, and that's not what they want. They wanted this to fail so that people would give them an excuse to go back to making games with like riddled with microtransactions. So people spend like $200, on this one game and then spend more money.
Well, you know who started that? Destiny.
Destiny was like the catalyst. Like it existed before Destiny. Destiny like really kind of brought it home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Well, for me, I hurriedly made my best and worst of each year. Very hurriedly.
Game?
Yes.
Okay.
Game, best, worst of each year. 2010, worst game, Mario Galaxy 2. Couldn't finish it. Frustrating. Way frustrating. Sorry.
I'm so frustrating.
There were some people that consider that one of the best games of the decade.
I consider it not a best game. Mario can be lost in space for all I care.
Well, he kind of was.
Jump off one of the planets and never return.
As you'll see coming up soon, he should have gotten lost in space, because what comes is not well. Anyway, and then the best of that year is Halo Reach, and
that's a good game.
What's nice is the developers that were on Bungie that made Halo Reach before they got kicked out of Bungie when Microsoft bought 343 and then redid Halo are going to come back and do Halo Infinite, which is a game I'm very much anticipating and looking forward to, because apparently a guy was like, yeah, it's a nice end to the Master Chief series. And I was like, did he just say that? And then everybody on Reddit was just like, did he just say end? Question mark.
Exclamation point.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing, Evan.
But 2011, Gears 3. Why? You were doing so good with Gears 2. Why?
Yeah, they brought someone who wrote novels.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And that game is not really known for its writing, so
It's like you realize an entire sentence in a novel is like, he looks disapprovingly upon him, and you can tell by his angst that he doesn't agree with him. And that's like half a second in a video game. So it feels super quick paced and annoying. So that's that one. And then, a lot. Dark Souls and Binding of Isaac came out in 2011 too.
those are great.
And then,
Wait, are you saying those are bad or great?
good.
Okay, good.
No, they're not bad. I love Dark Souls.
Well, I don't know. I
love
hate
Dank
Super
Souls.
Mario Galaxy too. Continue.
Yeah, I also hate Super Mario Bros. U. Remember when the Wii U came out? They don't remember it
No, I
either.
don't. What is that? Continue.
Wii U, it was a failed console.
Oh yeah, I would say Wii U is the biggest console failure of
Remember,
the last decade.
It was the PlayStation Vita, but not, and nobody used it.
I would say it was probably. I feel like it was a bigger failure than the Vita.
It seriously was. But then you had Black Ops 2 and Sleeping Dogs and Halo 4, and then 2013 was kind of a so PlayStation. I feel like this is where they kind of got their foothold on a lot of things. 2014.
Yeah, they started putting a lot of resources
2013.
into it.
So BioShock Infinite came out, which was disgusting and awful.
What? That was a great game.
I hated BioShock Infinite. It had no place in the entire series, in my opinion. And then Last of Us came out.
Yes.
Which I don't have any. I have like commas next to games I consider good. It's just standalone as Last of Us. I can't put anything next to it because that's the best of that year. And then Titanfall came out and then ruined everybody's help in anticipation. Then Dark Souls came out in 2014. Dark Souls 2, Alien Isolation came out. Destiny came out 2014, which I should have put on the bad list, which I'll do.
Way bad.
Cut.
I tried Destiny so hard and I just couldn't. It was just not great.
The worst part was it had so much anticipation for what was like a really good game that was supposed to be sort of like multiplayer open world, but it just crashed. And then Rocket League came out in 2015, which was terrible.
I have 15 minutes
Yes.
left.
Okay, I'll rush through them. Then Halo 5, Bloodborne, Witcher 3, and Undertake. See what I did there?
It's Undertake.
Undertale.
Oh,
2015. So Witcher 3 was my favorite of those. Halo 5 was terrible when it came to the campaign. The multiplayer was just as bad. But yeah. And then Titanfall 2 came out, which was like when you have Taco Bell and you take a crap for the first time, and then you had to go back to the bathroom, and the second one's just
hence
lava.
Hence the number two.
I have that every time I eat this one pizza from this one place. I have like buffalo chicken pizza. From
that explains it.
It's really
Do you care to say the name of the place?
yeah, Milo's. It's great.
Oh,
it's
they
great.
have buffalo chicken pizza
yeah.
there?
That
It's
sounds
no.
incredible.
The thing is though, like I get it every time, and and I suffer the consequences. It's really good pizza. Like it's not a knock on them. It's
No, yeah,
really
it's
good.
just
It's just
heavy.
my digestive tract just goes like, and my it's just raging butthole.
You know what helps is because so I don't quite remember how I figured this out, but like if you go to like a place like Del Taco or Taco Bell or any place that like ruins your digestive system, ironically, if you eat like Pepto beforehand, like an hour beforehand, doesn't happen to you.
Well,
What are we, old people? Or
it's not.
something?
Well, no, I don't get like heartburn or anything. It's just when I poop later, it burns because it's spicy pizza.
Oh,
Like,
I thought you mean it like burns all the way down. No. It's just
it's. I mean, it's spicy and it's like it tingles your tongue, but then like when I poop later, it hurts.
so it's making a fiery exit then.
Yes.
To the ring of fire.
Yes, it makes a ring of fire exactly. Okay, round out your decade
Okay,
games.
so Titanfall poo. You got 2016 was Dark Souls 3, best of the Dark Souls franchise. Watch. And then of course, what Overwatch came out that same year.
I was like, what'd you call my game that I'm wearing a sweater for?
Oh, we didn't know. No one knows what that.
Remember how
No, I know what it is. That's what matters.
then Enter the Gungeon came out in 2016. 2017 was PUBG.
Oh, it started
And then,
the horrible battle royale craze.
Terrible battle royale craze, and now it's like
Fortnite.
everyone's just like, oh, you know what's gonna happen?
I would actually put down Fortnite as one of the decade's successes. Like, it has a huge
can't.
impact. Like,
I can't. I can't, because it was so terrible to begin with. I played it when it first came out before they fleshed it out, and then they were just like, oh wait, I got an idea, we'll put memes in there and that's all better. That's exactly what happened.
That's why everyone plays it, because
It's terrible.
Because it's so meme heavy now.
So terrible. But and then you had Breath of the Wild came out in 2017.
Yes.
So that one, that's a standalone. I can't do anything. Ass Creed Odd, that was 2018. That's Assassin's Creed Odyssey, if nobody knows, which they don't either.
Oh my god.
And then God of War 2 in 2018. That's a standalone.
No. God of
Obviously.
War 2018.
God of War 2018.
2018.
It was a
that's what I
reboot.
said.
It's not God of War 2.
It's not
Reboot.
Yes, reboot. There you go. Rebut.
Goat of
it's not even a reboot.
Goat of Warfare.
Right. It's like,
people call it God of War 4 technically.
yeah.
Technically.
Yeah. Even though that's not the number behind it, that's what people call it.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
It's like a soft reboot,
And then
but not.
You're a soft reboot.
I'm a hard reboot.
Take it back.
Okay.
and then
Hard reboot.
Anus
that
Legends.
as you will.
I mean Apex Legends. Which the reason that's on the list, that's not a video game. It's terrible.
It's great.
It's awful.
I love it.
Have you played it?
I've played a lot of it. Probably, it's, I think, my second most played game of 2000.
Am I playing with the same person who I played Enter the Gungeon with?
Yes, you are.
I had a lot of respect.
I have a wide variety of tastes.
I thought you were about to say I have a wife that loves Apex. I was going to say like since when?
Well, you know the mail. No. Black Friday. No. What?
No. Okay.
But she wasn't.
Okay.
What? So the Jedi Fallen Order, and then this year I'm gonna call it early. I'm gonna call it early for 2020. Last of Us
Part 2,
Last
yes.
of Us 2 is gonna suck.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's gonna suck. I'm gonna call it. It's gonna suck.
Oh, it's gonna suck.
And then I'm putting Cyberpunk 2077 on the possibility of being okay.
yeah.
But I think it'll also, if it does right, it'll take everything. It'll
Win,
call the
like,
year.
game of the year.
It'll call
all
the
that.
year.
I think Cyberpunk and Last of Us are going to be like the two games this year, racing for all the game of the years.
I forgot about one in 2018. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, that was a
big
big
one.
The
That was
only
a
reason I
huge
didn't
game.
put that on my list was because God of War swept and not that
Red Dead got a lot of awards.
Red
too.
Dead got best voice actor, which did not make sense.
I was never gonna say
I was gonna say he just played generic cowboy guy.
Yeah,
That's
he
all
just
he was. I'm sorry. I'm sure he was a great actor.
They got 12 people off the streets of downtown Houston, and that's
playing,
that's Red Dead.
and he's going to save all of us.
Yep. That's
There you
pretty
go.
much right.
I get the award. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Okay. Now, best anime
Oh crap.
Of
That's
the
anime.
decade,
of the decade.
One Piece still.
One Piece. Just because something went through the entire decade does not make it good.
Crap, that's a really tough one.
Just because it started before the decade and is continuing through the decade does not make it good.
In my opinion, the anime that everybody still talks about, still to this day,
Attack on Titan.
it has to be Attack on Titan.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
such a
That
steamroll.
that one, and
My Hero.
Kill la Kill both came out in 2013.
Kill la Kill, great.
Kill la Kill was a really good hit for Trigger.
Absolutely.
And that spun off a bunch of other animes that they made. Then Dragon Ball Super 2015.
Yeah.
That rejuvenated the Dragon Ball fandom.
Absolutely.
Demon Slayer 2019. That was a manga in 2016 that they made into an anime, and so
Yeah,
that
a lot of really
that came
popular.
on at the end. We were talking about that in the last episode. It's like you watch that, and it's just like this is the type of animation that exists.
Yeah.
Like what?
Oh, and then
really
also anime movies like Your Name was really good. And then there's another one, A Silent Voice. Have you seen that one?
That one's really
I
good.
have not.
It's on
but
Netflix.
I've heard.
I
it's really
recommended
good.
that one to you. Do you remember when it first came out? I was like, you need
think
to go
so,
see
yeah,
A Silent Voice.
Then
And it's
if we're talking about anime movies, the Dragon Ball Super movie Broly.
Yes, that one was very crispy, beautiful animation.
That was
what I
really
hear.
good.
Soundtrack was awesome for that one too.
And then of course, like you said before, My Hero in 2017. That was a manga first, but then
My Hero, I'll make like a little smaller golden trophy for the most international of the decade. That one I feel like has swept so much.
I think
over
it's a
these
close
past
tie.
Which one?
My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
I think for most influential, it's tied between Attack and My Hero because both of them, like the characters for both shows, were so fleshed out and they were so relatable in a lot of ways that people really connected with all of them. And they did, like, My Hero is a good like commentary on like hero society, and it does a really good job of like honing it. Like a lot of the side characters get a lot of screen time and they get a lot of development, and they're not just like, oh, that's like the cool guy and like that's the a-hole and then this is the main character, and like everyone has layers and everyone has a reason for why they want to be a hero, and it's really, I think it's all those ideas are explored.
Attack on Titan and My Hero are like very strong character-led, genre-based anime, and they're they've brought a lot of anime similar to that.
We were talking about the season 2 of Attack on Titan, and a lot of that is just character development,
right?
And you don't even see like the main trio that often, and like they don't even focus on Eren and Mikasa, which is weird. That's very unheard of, but it works. And like they develop all these characters, and then by season 3, when all these climactic things happen, you feel so much for all of it, and it's great. And it's the same thing with My Hero. They do a good job with not making the main character Mary Sue like most, like, or Jerry Stu, and
Jerry Stu, that's great.
And Deku, like, he gets all for one, but it's not
completely.
But like the thing is, it breaks him every time he uses it, and he has to learn to control it. And there's character development and that and all that stuff. So it's great.
It's a wonderful juxtaposition too for a character. It's so annoying to see the same trope over and over of kid who's stronger than the rest of the other kids goes on and fights somebody who's almost as strong as he is and overcomes a great like diversity. But I feel like also. Another anime that I feel like we all a few podcasts ago talked about an anime that got us into animes. I think both yours and ours was Avatar: The Last Airbender. That one, I feel like that one had such promise, even though it ended, and then they really undid everything with Legend of Korra. And kind of threw everything they could have done.
Yeah, almost everyone that I know that watched Korra was like, it had a lot of potential, and it kind of just like
it fizzled out really quickly.
I think it fell for the trap of trying to
follow up what they tried
I think so, and they were just like, oh, let's just go one up, and it just kind of fell flat. But
in my opinion, they should. My opinion, they should. I know.
Let me.
It's just dying. It's okay. In my opinion, what they should have done is instead of spinning off to the next Avatar, I would have been more than happy to see following books, even though he wasn't like learning a new element. Like half of my fascination and probably half the reason people watch Legend of Korra was the tie-ins of all the old characters and all the like follow-up after what happened, and
seeing the young characters grow up.
Exactly. And like then you're kind of thrust upon this like strong, very masculine main character in Korra who doesn't really fit the same main character trope where she's born knowing all 3 elements already and she has to learn air. And it's just like you don't get that same flow.
There's no tension.
Exactly.
Ever. Like there's no stakes. And even when she loses her bending abilities, like it's like she gets them back like that, and there's no consequence for anything.
That's exact. And that's what I was gonna say was like the whole thing seems so
consequential.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's like there's no
because I've thought about this a lot.
Yeah, and there's no flow to the actual anime. I felt that, and like I just jumped around after watching the whole thing. I usually do this where I'll have them on a list and then I'll just have random select. And like some animes, it's great. Like One Piece, it's fantastic for because it's like, oh, I forgot that like entire arc. And then I'll watch a new episode and they'll bring it up, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. But then like I'll watch other ones like yeah.
Your dog watches you get up, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. But the same thing for some of these other ones, and that's kind of the other thing. One of my other points was Bleach ended this decade as well, and my thing with Bleach was like they also had potential and they decided to kill themselves early, and the same thing goes for
it's called Money, and extending series beyond
Yeah.
where they should have existed. A couple more mentions. I would put Erased in there. It's only like 13 episodes, and
Yes.
another really great
Erased
one.
is
Mob,
really-
Mob Psycho.
Mob
100.
Mob
is still
Psycho
good.
and Nozaki-kun. It's a
Yes.
way less known one,
And-
but it's about making manga.
And worst anime, High School of the Dead. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
thank
much.
you for listening.
Wait, I have a close second for worst anime though.
What is it?
Have you guys watched the anime I told you about where it's like literally 2 minutes long and everything's super fast?
What is it called?
I gotta find it, but that one I count as the worst.
What's the name of it?
I can't remember the
High
name
School of the Dead, the musical.
High School of the Dead, the musical.
But for the sake of time, everyone who knows what I'm talking about knows what I'm talking about. For the ones who don't, look it up. It's terrible.
Also Breaking Bad for TV. Bye. We gotta go.
We gotta go. But thank you so much for listening. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Email us at nerdnoutpodcast@gmail.com. Email us ideas, thoughts, criticisms, hate mail. We'll take anything.
Flavor bastard.
Flavor blasted in the subject line, and we will take it seriously.
We will.
And yeah, thank you so much for listening. And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Just for reference. Okay. Dude, okay.
Yes.
I have a confession because it's like yes. Oh, my volume is already kind of like all the way up.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Like that?
it's like over here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay,
Perfect.
cool. I have a confession because like work for me yesterday was very frustrating,
Yes.
and I had like a David Strobridge moment because like I was in my car like losing my mind, like because I was late to my next shift because this lady asked me to vacuum her pretty much one half of the house with 3 minutes left in my shift.
That's the equivalent of customers coming into a store when
I know, and Lotta always tells me, she's like, you know, you choose to be, you know, mad or whatever, like you have a choice, and I chose to be pissed. Like I was like in my car screaming, yeah, I was so mad, and then I just had like just a flood of Bible verses in my head, just going like, it's like anger, you know, anger makes you a fool. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, I look like an idiot right now in my car, and I just felt so like convicted. I was just like, I am so like stupid. I chose this. Like, I don't like feeling this way, but but I'm like actively choosing to be mad right now, even though I'm not there anymore and I'm not dealing with it anymore. And it was just, yeah. So I was very.
How long did it take to actually vacuum?
I left that shift. So that shift ends at 11. I left at like 11:13.
Yeah, that's still pretty bad.
Yeah. So it took,
And then you beat her with the
no.
with the vacuum cleaner, right?
Yes. Yes.
Punctuated.
Yes. That's why I'm pursuing other careers.
Perfect punchline. Yes.